Let's pretty heavy topic. Let's segue into something else. It'd be pretty ironic if we were talking about mental health in the Indian community, not to mention yoga and meditation.
Mm,
I know you're a certified yoga teacher. In what ways do you think yoga and meditation or mindfulness has an effect on a person's mental health and well-being?
yeah. Yeah, yoga. Well, let's put it this way: that the human body, is suited for gentleness, and which means that by so I think about yoga as it's embracing and soothing your body um, to be able to handle the vicissitudes of life that we go through. So I think that our soul resides in our body, and every now and then our experiences are challenged and the body takes toll. So when the body is suited for gentleness, yoga is a way of regulating your body. So if you ever attend a yoga class, there's a real focus on breath work. And breath work is really to ground you, because breath is something that can always center you in yourself. So when somebody is activated, or there is a experience that is causing distress, you will note that your breathing changes. One tends to breathe shallow, and the body gets tensed up. So breathing, mindfulness, meditation is the way to calm the body down. And for some of us who practice postures in yoga, focusing on postures is also a way on just drawing attention to the body, out of your mind into your body, to center yourself. So yoga has a great place of pacing ourselves to calm the body down. If you think about trauma, so again, trauma being intense experiences in life of individuals that have left a memory lasting longer than the time that the event took place. Trauma is often stored in our body and in our feelings. So yoga is a great way of helping regulate our emotional experiences. So breath work, mindfulness, which is being in the present moment with awareness. Mind plays tricks on us all the time. So we either think about living in the past or we live in the future. The should, the could, the would, the must, all are either future related or past related. I could have done better. I must have been so stupid. All those experiences are either futuristic or past. But we really, where we do have control is in the present moment. So yoga and mindfulness is about being in the present moment with awareness, which is where we have control, which is where we have the capacity and the strength to regulate ourselves. So that practice can be really, really helpful. I know through my challenging experiences in life, where I couldn't find a way to regulate myself. I remember walking into the yoga studio, and it was just about the act of being in that space that was just calming and allowing me to work through it. And I can talk about that with you today, because I was able to overcome that.
There's like so many things you said that I want to talk about. So when I practice yoga, it's not something I can describe in words. It's almost like it lets you feel that you're really in a body. It reminds me, okay, I have a body, and that body needs tending to. And then you said something about trauma being stored in the body. I've also heard the explanation that many physical ailments can have an emotional root cause. Would you say so?
Absolutely, absolutely. I really I truly believe that. Like I said earlier, I'm humbled by working with people in my private practice that often will come in with high levels of emotional dysregulation, high levels of anxiety, or situational distress or depression that actually shows up in the body. So, heart palpitations, or feeling like I'm having a heart attack, or have been to the hospital many times with false alarms thinking that they're having a heart attack, but it was a panic attack, right? And which can actually, right? So actually,
No, sorry to interrupt you. I
go
love
ahead.
that you
Yeah,
bring that
no.
up, because I don't think people understand the severity of what an anxiety or a panic attack can feel like. I've also heard it compared to running a mile. Is that
Right.
okay?
Yeah. And people often describe that feeling as completely debilitating. It takes over. And you just want to get rid of that feeling within. And that's when sometimes we are drawn to behaviors that can be very adaptive in the moment, but actually maladaptive in the long run, like numbing, avoiding, self-soothing through using substances, alcohol, marijuana, to suppress that intense feeling that happens within. Right. So much of our human experience that is labeled as toxic is usually a way of coping, which is unhealthy in the long run, which is usually a way of coping with some of the psychosomatic experiences that can get manifested in the body. Right. So I think it's really important to recognize that, because everything begins with the mind.
Yeah, I definitely agree with using the word coping is when something can get unhealthy. Like the way I do yoga and meditation now, though I used to do it years ago, but I would do it in order to escape my feelings. I was running from myself essentially. And so that you don't really get healed in that way, because
Right.
I started to compartmentalize, and that's where I got this real just like self-hatred. And
Right.
when I just sat with everything, and I went to a professional to do this, but I sat with all my feelings, and I went through countless memories and things. It was a very meditative process. I think it's referred to as soul retrieval.
Mm.
And it really made me okay with negative emotions. We talked about that toxic
Right.
positivity, right? Negativity as in itself bad. But
Mhm.
if you think about the human experience, it has both pain and pleasure. Like those are just natural things.
Absolutely.
Touch a hot stove,
Yeah.
it's your
Yeah.
sign not to do that again. So
Absolutely.
accepting a lot of parts in me that were hurting was how I helped heal myself. And so
Mm.
now when I meditate, it's not to escape my thoughts or my anxiety or to get away from myself. Because when I was doing it that way, it's like you can't meditate 24 hours a day. I can't exercise 24 hours a day. I have to
Mhm.
stop at some
Yes.
point, and then the everything starts again, like the negative thoughts and everything. So now it's at a
Absolutely.
point of, okay, I accept all the parts of myself, and I just am going to support myself no matter how I feel, whether or not the world agrees. You
Mhm.
have to support yourself in whatever emotion you feel.
I completely echo what you're saying, Varinder. It really holds true for me, and also in my work, because as I've learned more, I've moved away from this idea of positive and negative emotions, because each emotion there plays a certain role, and emotions are your body's alarm system that tells you something's going on, and we have to listen to it. So the work through our pain is not taking a detour from our emotions. It is accepting our emotions and working our way through it. And I'm hearing what you're saying, that when we can sit with our emotions, when we learn to tolerate our emotions, which are there for a reason, which are there for experiences we've had, then we grow resilient through them.
Yeah, I almost feel like your emotions are meant to say something to you, and you only know that if you're listening. But if you're trying to run away, you're not
Right.
sure what that is. And that's all your emotion is trying to get you to do is to listen. And then I've noticed it will just like fizzle out on its own, because they
Right.
are
Right.
temporary. And the
Yeah.
harder we suppress them, the longer they stay.
Absolutely, and shout out to you for saying that out loud, because I think that earlier to your question about message to the community as well, is that kind of debunking the stigma around emotions not being okay, or debunking the idea that you always have to present strong, right? So presenting strong includes presenting vulnerability.
Another episode of the Speak Real podcast, sharing one-on-one conversations. We believe that storytelling is the best way to empower youth and give them the platform to find their voices.
Presented by YouthSpeak. Youth experience, youth voice, youth empowered.